Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Abu Tayyib and I'm the CEO of Golf Business Technology, the leading technology news platform dedicated to the world of golf. Today, we are presenting Zest Golf's Booking 2.0 More 10 Times Faster, presented by John Schade and Joe Mays from Zest Golf. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. The webinar is being recorded and will be made available after the webinar on the Golf Business Technology platform. Participants will be automatically muted and cameras turned off. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box into the Teams Q&A panel. The questions will then be answered during and at the end of the presentation by both John and Joe. If you would like to ask any questions after the presentation directly, please use the raise the hand function, and one of John or Joe will assist. Now, without further delay, we will turn the time over to John Schade. John?
Thank you, Abu. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here with everybody. And thank you for all the people in the west coast of the US who got up so early to come and listen to us today. As Abu mentioned, we have some information about bookings and how to get more and faster and better margins. And it's one of the metrics that is typically and historically viewed as a key driver for the health of our businesses. So I have Joe Mays with me, and Joe has been in more of the tech side of the business for quite a few years. Myself, I've been in operations, and probably the majority of my 20 years with Troon was spent chasing metrics and chasing bookings and how to get the most out of them. And every once in a while, you do come across something that is a real gem. And I do believe that's what we found in Zest, and we're pretty excited to share it with everybody and to give you a little insights into what we see as the future of golf that's coming today in our space. So instead of kind of giving you a full pitch of who we are as a company and what we do, we're going to show you what we do today. And it's pretty straightforward. We're called a channel manager or a GDS, a global distribution system. But in the end, simply put, we are a window that allows businesses, tour operators, websites, apps, federations, etc., to see availabilities and book tee times live and in real time with every connected golf facility on our platform. So that's really what it is. We're going to get into how it works a little bit later, as this is a technology platform. So without wasting any more time, let's get into the why of what gets us up in the morning. And Abu had asked this question to Oliver, who is one of the early team members of Zest. And, you know, in terms of what we see, it's really down to reality for the golf industry today. One graphic can really sum it up. And something I want to get Joe's opinion on is, where do we sit in the golf space today? In terms of bookings for B2B, golf is one of the few remaining industries where we actually can't do things online and in real time. All the other industries have been doing it for quite a while. Hotels, airlines, there's been Sabre, Amadeus have been around for decades. And for some reason, golf, we don't do it. They've all quantitatively proved that being able to book online in real time makes sense on every level. But some reason golf hasn't caught up to it yet. So I'm just curious, and I'd like Joe's opinion. How come we have a 2.5 billion euro industry where we have a reality today of booking that amount of money via phone calls and emails? It's really pretty fundamental. When I was with Troon, we tried to find the best ways to maximize efficiency and get returns to the bottom line. So before we get into how bookings can improve, let's talk about where we are today and what some of these hurdles are that we face. I mean, Joe, why do we think it's taken so long for us to catch up to this? Why are we still stuck in emails and phone calls?
Thank you, John. Thank you, Abu. As they would say in politics, that is a good question. I spent a lot of my time over the last 20 years, initially with Golf Switch and some other companies, trying to figure out how we can get people to book tee times more efficiently online. Now, I think the B2C environment is getting covered. We were probably, as Golf Switch, the first ones to put booking engines on golf club websites in Spain, whereby the tee sheet at that time didn't have a booking engine, which came a bit from the American way of working. But there is no B2B, or there was no B2B system available. The reason is, or probably the reason is, that there are so many systems out there, and for somebody to really connect to all these systems is very complicated and cumbersome. Maybe also, I would say, it's not the reluctance of the operators to change behavior, their own behavior. They're typically used to a way of working whereby they see people coming to them via phone call or email, which is in their email was still very modern for over the last 20 years. So they see their golf courses filling up in a traditional format. So this doesn't work for operators that want to be able to book multiple golf courses over multiple destinations on multiple systems. And obviously, like you see the slide, the hotels, airlines, rental cars, taxis, you can even book taxis and transfers now, and restaurants, you can book a table, have all caught up to that very quickly, hotels being the first ones, and airlines as well. So golf courses need to get with that. Now, when John said that there is no option to book, that is not entirely correct, but it's so fragmented, and that is the big problem, and that's why we're there. We're trying to bring this all together to make sure that there's efficiency and ultimately cost saving, which ultimately drives profitability. So that's what we're trying to do.
Exactly. And the why is really pretty simple. We see all of these inefficiencies and we want to change that. So if we move to what we have today at the core, it's very simple. We are a window into each golf course's tee sheet. And this gives anybody who would like the opportunity to see things in real time, check availabilities before you have to pick up the phone or send an email. So what we're going to show you here in this video is how fast our system can go to help you book a tee time. And this will show 3 courses on 3 different dates through 2 countries, 2 different tee sheet providers, buggies, all booked, invoiced, paid, and this whole video is very quick. So you'll see on the left side, we have some pretty unique offerings. And while we think unique in the golf space, they're actually really not that unique because they're done in our everyday lives everywhere else. We do book plane flights on our mobile phones, hotel rooms, car hires, etc. We're just opening this up to golf. And really, in our opinion, there are only 2 questions for us as golf is, 1, when is this sort of thing going to become endemic for us? When is this going to be the industry standard? And then the second question is, who's going to do it? Obviously, we're betting on ourselves because we have developed this technology already. We do integrate with tee sheets, and we can offer this live. It's on. So, Joe, if you want to just go through this example quick, it'll give everybody a real simple understanding of what it is we do at the heart of our business.
Yeah, maybe before you start the video, sorry, John, what we need to emphasize is the relationships that we empower here remain between golf course and channel, whoever that channel is. Could be tour operator, which is the most common one at the moment, could be a hotel desk, could be a concierge, whatever. These relationships remain intact. It's not that we buy off the golf club and sell to the resellers. That's not what we do. The control remains within the golf course environment. So obviously there are a couple of elements. The tee sheet is ultimately what determines the availability, but then on top of this we can set some certain booking rules, payment conditions, cancellation policies, refund policies, all set by the golf course, and they can dictate them to each and every channel individually or as a group. What we see now typically is that most golf courses have one set of conditions because of the cumbersomeness of doing business with other people. They have one contract, contracts need to be exchanged, come back, etc. Tour operator needs to realize what the contract is, load it into their system. So there's an awful lot of work going on in the background, which we take away from both sides, really. So if you can start that video, I can run you briefly through how a booking works. This is the channel environment. So this is where a tour operator would typically go into to book tee times. Ultimately, that's what it is. So we start with the dashboard. There's a book a tee time button. It opens up a booking engine. We have 2 levels, individual tee times. Underneath you see golf passports, so golf passes. We'll come into that later. You can select your country, Again, the course availability is again determined by the relationship between that course and that channel. If that course wants to work with that channel, that connection is made. In this case, it's Quinta del Lago North course, 11th of November, easy search. This now went to the dashboard of the golf club, applied all the rules and conditions, went to the tee sheet and brought back availability within these rules and conditions. Then you can continue the path of the booking. You can add buggies to it if you wanted to. Put it into a cart, and there you can see the cart. There's a courtesy transfer included as well. You can select another golf course, which becomes available in the same screen. Could be the same country, could be a different country, depending on the requirements of your customer. La Cala, 3-course property. There's 3 courses in there. America, Asia. Again, you can look tee times over different days in different properties or in one property as you want. It'll go again to the tee sheet, bring back availability. As you can see, there's availability for 2 players, 1 player, 4 player. So if you have a group of 8, 12 people, you can find out the best tee times. If you want to group them together. If people want to play in the morning, you can see immediately if there is availability on that particular golf course. You can switch dates on each and every golf course. So it becomes a very flexible system whereby if you as an operator, concierge, tour operator, want to book your customers onto multiple golf courses, independent of which tee sheet they run on, independent of the country, ultimately that doesn't really matter. You can create an overview very quickly, very efficiently, and book these tee times there and then. Like you see, we're now booking 3, 4 balls on 3 different countries in the space of us having a little conversation here. So it'll probably now, I think we said we booked 3. The rates, the products are all either loaded into our system or at this moment as well are coming out of the tee sheet provider. So tee sheets are starting to provide us with more information through their APIs, which wasn't always the case in the beginning, whereby we can pull live products and live pricing from tee sheets. We've done that because we have certain courses that are going on to dynamic pricing. I know that most tour operators don't really like that, but there is a tendency. I know it's been talked about for many years now, dynamic pricing in the golf industry. But it's complicated to do it if you have tour operator contracts. You can't really do it. Your contract is fixed. You can't really change your pricing depending on availability. With a system like this, if it's live and automated, you can do that. There you can see the overview of all the tee times for players, what the pricing is. There'll be a checkout now. The checkout will determine what the costs are. We have an integrated payment solution powered by Stripe, whereby golf courses can dictate payment terms. If they have a Stripe account, we guide them through that. They can dictate the payment terms and say, well, I would like to get paid, or my tour operator or B2B bookings have to be paid time of booking, X days before play, or don't have to be paid via the system because I will invoice them, but it can be automated. Our system will detect all that, will take payment where it's due, when it's due, and will process that automatically and split that payment in case, for example, if this was the case that all the courses had to be paid at a particular time, we would collect that money. It doesn't come into our account, it stays within Stripe, and that would then be split automatically and distributed to the golf courses.
And that's a very good point, Joe. The money part and the cash flow is always a big implication for facilities. And with this payment solution, it gives you full control. You can even have relationships with multiple different vendors. You don't even necessarily need contracts because with a payment system, you can say when you want to be paid. It can be 100% prepayment. And Joe said, this is not coming to Zest. We don't touch anybody's money. Stripe merely distributes everything to the appropriate end party. So everybody has the confidence and the security that this is going to happen when they want. And you don't have to worry about if someone is actually going to pay you or not, which has always been a common fear historically for golf courses. It's like, great, someone has booked us and someone's come and played, but 30 days, 60 days, 90 days later, we don't know if we're going to see the money. And chasing the money brings up another interesting point about all of the inefficiencies with phone calls and emails in general. So how long does it actually take when you're booking?
Sorry, John, we have a few
Yeah,
raised hands there.
We have someone wanting to ask a question. I'm going to allow Elvis to use his mic. Elvis, you're able to use your mic now. You can put it off mute if you want.
Sorry. Hello.
Elvis?
I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can.
Loud and clear.
I'm sorry, my internet is a little bit choppy. It's not your fault, but anyways, you were mentioning payment system that is being integrated to your booking system. What payment systems do you integrate with so far?
At the moment, we use Stripe because it's very common worldwide. We do have countries where Stripe is not available and where we do have the courses coming on board. So we're looking at potentially other providers in that. Payment is a complicated one, because if you look at the previous example where you have 3 different golf courses, imagine if they have 3 different payment providers, we would then have to ask for 3 different payments from a tour operator, which we don't want to do. We want to be able to say, okay, from that tour operator, we're taking whatever the number was, €2,500, and we then split that money automatically. That wouldn't be possible if we were to work with different payment providers depending on the golf course, because it's ultimately the golf course that dictates they want to receive the money. So at the moment, it's Stripe alone.
Thanks for the question, Elvis. Was there another one, Abu, or was that it for now?
I think that's it for now. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Great. Well, as we started, to say early on, is what are the inefficiencies with the whole booking process that we have right now, running through phone calls and email? How long does this stuff actually take? Not being connected in real time is a big problem. And when you start to do the numbers, you understand the reality and the implications it has. If we just give a kind of a pretty average hypothetical example, a commercial golf course that does 30,000 rounds overall. So let's say 1/3 of those are actually B2B bookings in commercial rounds. So 10,000, easy math. About 4,000 bookings will be required to get those 10,000 rounds. Now, when you think about all of the phone calls, the emails, first you have the request come in, you have to answer, you have to do the search for the availabilities and the options, you pass it back to the different clients, different operators, they go back and forth with their clients, then you actually get to book something. This doesn't involve changes, this doesn't involve cancellations. This is just to get to that point of one successful booking. That average is over 20 minutes for one of those bookings. So out of the 4,000 bookings you need to get those 10,000 rounds, that's 80,000 minutes for a golf course that does 30,000 rounds with 10,000 commercial rounds. That 80,000 minutes for someone who's working 8 hours a day, no lunches, just 8 hours a day, that's 8 months. 8 months of someone working every day, no lunch breaks, just to get and service those 10,000 rounds. So when you think about the real effect this has on your golf operation, this doesn't include chasing payments, cancellations, all of those updates. That is a lot. And I think we had some of my Swedish friends on the call. I hope they're on the call. For those who we think have 2 months off a year, that means that you could tell them almost half their working time is free, which means they can do more than just not have to check for tee times, because the searches are massive. How much time is spent checking availabilities and answering clients to find that sweet spot? Searches are the big one. Now, staff, actually, if you're a receptionist behind the counter, if you're doing phone calls and emails for 8 hours solid, you can't attend to the guest. You can't even check a golfer in. You can't get out from behind the reception desk, try to sell an extra polo, try to sell a golf ball, or even just greet some people. You can't do that. And the facilities who are coming on board, we have a few big ones who do a lot of rounds. They're looking at this and thinking, geez, I've just increased the availability of my staff almost double because of efficiency and electricity. We're all online these days. So most T-sheets are cloud-based, and this is the benefit of what a system can do like this. Again, I believe this is inevitable, and it'd be hard for someone to convince me that in 10 years from now, we're still going to be making reservations by emails and phone calls. We always will a little, but for the majority, it doesn't happen. You look at different studies and reports, media outlets, they all kind of say the same thing. By 2027, around 3/4 of all travel and leisure reservations are going to be made online. So golf is, we're typically a little more archaic and slower to react, but that means eventually we'll get there. So that's kind of what I see with this, Joe. Yeah. What do you see more on the technical side? Because you spent the last couple of years getting this to work across different T-sheet providers, so it is possible.
Yeah, the technology is there. Like I said, T-sheet providers, that's where it all starts ultimately. We have to have the right connectivity with the T-sheet. T-sheet providers are stepping up to that plate as well. Now, I can't speak for a T-sheet provider. I have a lot of experience with them, but I would imagine we do get some requests from golf or some remarks from golf courses. Yeah, but they can go to my T-sheet provider and they will do all that integration as well. But imagine if we look at the numbers of IACTA, if there's, I don't know, 400 or 500 tour operators within Europe, all looking for an integration with each and every T-sheet, the amount of work that goes into that, for the T-sheet, because they have to facilitate all these API integrations, support them as well, for these channels that have to spend the money to build all these integrations, and then to keep that all going. If there is a mistake, which we also see that the course is offline, the support tickets that are offline left, right, and center between courses and channels will be off the chart. So the world, well, the golf industry needs an integrator like Zest. We are the first. Will there be others? Probably, maybe, we don't know. We have a head start, but there's no other way. We had travel companies that have come to us ultimately after they've exhausted the conversations with the dominant T-sheet providers in the tourism destinations, and they've come back and said, well, for us to build this, because everybody's building their little Zest system, then would cost us 100, 200, 300, 400,000 just for a couple of courses in Spain and Portugal, where the majority of our market is. But if we get a request for Italy, we don't have an integration. The whole thing starts again. So there's no doubt that there has to be an aggregator or aggregators. It happens in other verticals as well. So if you look at the example on the video, the 3 golf courses, we're talking about time and the 80,000 minutes, 8 months for one person. These were 3 different golf courses. On the other side, you have a consumer waiting for a proposal from a channel, from a tour operator. And if that proposal comes in later or too late or takes days or whatever the numbers, he might have gone and booked his own golf courses. So the operators themselves, they know how important it is for them to be able to facilitate these requests in a timely manner as well. If you then look at 10,000 commercial rounds, we're looking at some of the major resorts in Spain and Portugal who do 80,000, 90,000 rounds. The amount of staff hours that go into facilitating these bookings is enormous, and the cost associated with that. So yeah, I think most of the major golf courses and resorts that do an awful lot of B2B rounds, they are really crying out for a solution like Zest, and we see that in our commercial activities as well.
And that video, Joe, that you walked us through, it was less than 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
imagine doing that over the phone and email. Next week we'll do another seminar. We'll have it booked by then.
John.
Yes,
John, we have someone wanting to ask a question. Daniel.
Sure.
Daniel, I've allowed your mic now. You can put yourself off mute and ask your question.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes, you can, Daniel.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Okay, I assume that the club is the one that decides the green fee price, right? The fees. And I assume they have it installed in their system. Now, let's say they have different prices, or they provide a commission to a travel agency, a different one to a tour operator, a different one to a hotel concierge nearby. And now, if the club decides, because they have a overload of bookings on a certain period, they decide to raise their prices, would Zest manage the change of commission and prices to all those clients, travel agent, tour operator, hotels, which have an agreement with?
This is actually the definition of a channel manager. So yes, we are a window or a mirror into what you have at your golf course. So if you have changed something, it is reflected to whatever final sales channel it is who's trying to look and book. So yes, this is the core function of what we do. So you just have the changes in your system, and we reflect that. So different pricing is possible, different commissions. Joe, you can probably add more detail to this, but the simple answer is yes, all of the control rests with you as the golf course.
But let's say I have a standard rate, but I decide to change that rate, and then the different tour operators and agencies, they have different commissions. Just by changing that standard rate, it would apply to all the prices shown to the different travel agencies?
Yes. Well, there's two ways. Like I said in the beginning, at this moment, we have built a complete rate structure or rate system in Zest, within Zest, because we didn't have the facility with the T-sheet operators to pull rates and products. Now, we've been doing this for quite a while. The conversations that we have with most of the T-sheet operators are very positive, and a lot of them have already changed their APIs. We then follow suit. We can pick up whatever rate is in the T-sheet. So if, like you say, if a T-sheet if a golf course decides to change pricing up or down, doesn't really matter, we can see that automatically. It's based on a request. So a tour operator goes, I want to go and book for the 15th of October. We look into the T-sheet. That price is now X minus 1, or whatever the number is, and we bring that back and we allow that. Within our system, then they can then start, the golf course can start managing their channels, as in to say, it would probably take a little change of operations for them, because at the moment most of them work on net rate basis, which is kind of fixed. But they could say, well, I give my A operators 20% commission, my B 15%, and my C 10. That follows the price. If the price goes up, the 20, 15, and 10 still remains, but the number, the final number, the absolute number changes. So that's really how it all works. If they change up and down, we follow with, and the commission changes.
Thanks.
Yeah, very good question, Daniel. Thank you. Joe, you kind of mentioned a little bit about the market. I think a lot of people in the industry will know some of these statistics already. The strong presence that Yocto has everywhere, and the fact that over 90% of package bookings do happen with their membership. They are worldwide. And as an industry, you look at, let's say, 21, 22 billion in our tourism, 2.5 billion in our golf package turnover. We are a very small industry in all of travel and leisure versus airlines, hotels, which are, 50, I think it's 50 million is Airbnb. So we are very small, but we also know that there is a massive potential because we are such a close-knit group. We want to enable everyone to be able to sell more tee times, book them faster. That's what we want to do. We aren't a tee sheet. We aren't here to sell that stuff. We are here to enable everyone to do more business and faster. Some of our partners, again, Yocto really believes that this is the future and online is key. So they have arranged with us together some preferred rates. We have a lot of strong partners, some big names. We have quite a few T-sheets we're integrated with, over half of them in Europe already. We have some of the biggest sales channels who have also joined up. We're looking to kind of tiptoe into the US market next year. We're talking with some of the top 10 operators there who are looking to integrate us kind of regionally and see how that goes, because they will have the ability with a channel manager to create their own markets. And this is really powerful. Because we don't compete with anyone, because we're fully independent, this allows us to connect with everyone and to try to advance golf booking in general. Joe, you can speak about some of the really more cool, more specific things we do in terms of our API integrations. If we want to go to 2 examples in particular, with the Eurogolf and a couple of our golf passports.
Yeah, sorry. There's actually another question that came in about payment. Maybe we go a step back. So how can golf courses be certain that they will get paid? What happens in case of no-shows or last-minute cancellations? Now, this is all covered in the channel manager, as in there are cancellation policies that can be enforced in the system. If your cancellation policy as a golf course is 7 days out, our system will not allow anybody to cancel. Obviously, if there is a no-show, you can't foresee that, people don't turn up. What happens to payment? If as a golf course you have decided to use the payment solution that we provide, then you get paid, full stop. We tell golf courses to match their cancellation policy with their payment policy. So if 7 days is your cancellation policy, then you get paid 7 days before play. Somebody doesn't turn up, it doesn't really matter. You have been paid. If you decide not to use the payment policy, then it's still your responsibility. Like I said in the beginning, the relationship remains between golf course and channel. So you create the conditions that you want to work together between the two, and that's how the relationship will continue. If we then go to this example here on screen, our API integration. So we saw the booking that we made was on our booking engine that is within our platform that tour operators or anybody can use. But also we have an API, outgoing API, whereby we gather all the information from the T-sheet APIs. We have the channel manager environment, and that environment then dictates what we send out to our API. 2 examples. Eurogolf is a platform that uses our API to build a white label booking engine where consumers can book golf. It works in a way that our backend decides what is shown. So if a golf course says, hey, I want to work with Eurogolf, and I'm giving Eurogolf this and this and this price and this condition, and switches it on, as it could be easily done in the backend, it'll automatically update Eurogolf's site. So that course will automatically become available with a picture and a logo and the tee times and the rates, etc., just by clicking it on in the backend, by the relationship being confirmed through Zest. That's how it works. On the right-hand side, we see the golf passport. We took a screenshot of the booking engine. Same thing happens. The golf passport is kind of cool because it's a combination of multiple golf courses, could be on multiple T-sheet providers, all coming together in one, cooperating, and whereby as a consumer, this is the consumer version, but it also works for B2B, you get a better rate when you book multiple golf courses. In the case of Cascais, there's a 3-course, a 4-course, and a 5-course pass. And there are specific rules set for that passport. And one of the rules is that you can only book 1 golf course within that pass once. So you cannot say, well, I want to buy the pass and I want to play Oitavos 5 times because that's the major golf course in the area. No, the reason why that's done that way, and we've had a meeting recently with Cascais, and they're at IGTM as well. They said it actually works because it spreads the golfer to different golf courses. Because if you have a destination whereby there are a couple of high-end golf courses and then the rest kind of trying to fill the gaps, this makes sure that the request and the booking gets spread over all the golf courses. And we saw that the results of the year to date, we had 12 months, that every golf course had minimum 15% of the rounds booked. Between 15 and 22% were the rounds booked. So it does spread it out. This again collects money and automatically distributes it to the relevant golf courses that are booked without anybody having to do anything in the back end. Money gets collected, automatically gets distributed. 3 days later, it's in the bank account of the golf club. There's reporting available. So the Visit Qashqai, the tourist board, that was one of the premises that they wanted to work with us. Is they didn't, I'm not saying they didn't want to do anything. They didn't want to start reconciling with golf courses, because that's very complicated. Oh, you had 5 rounds and I had 3 rounds and you owe me 2, etc., etc. So this system all takes care of that. They just wanted to focus on promoting the platform. The API is available for anybody really to integrate into their own system. We also have a number of tour operators that are looking at complete solutions whereby the golfer dictates where he wants to travel. As a golf course, if you're not on Zest or on potentially another channel manager in the future, you will not be able to get booked anymore. The days of getting phone calls from a tour operator will start to go away, really, because tour operators want golfers to book their flight, hotel, transfer, and golf all in one platform. Pay for it, done. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, Joe, we want to connect with everybody on a technical level. There isn't anything that prevents us from connecting with any T-sheet, any app, any website, anything like that out there. The only instance where we actually don't get to connect with a certain T-sheet is when the T-sheet company says, no, we don't want to connect. Technically, we can connect to everyone. So just part of our sales pipeline process is to get as much inventory for everybody out there in the world as we possibly can. And, you know, with that, we do see this as something we all need to embrace and should embrace, because it is the way the world is going to go. It will make life better. We all need to work a lot more with less, usually. So that means, how can we as a company get this out to as many people as possible so everyone can have a little more time, dedicate some staff to better experiences, just really have a better quality of life. One of the large resorts was telling us some of their concerns are because in the busy seasons, their staff they get burned out. They have so many emails and phone calls. They want to answer quickly, but they just can't because of volume. So how can we do this as a company to help out in the best way possible? For us, minimally extractive offers was the best way to go. We want to reduce all barriers to entry. We want everyone to be able to do this. So we've come up with our 2 kind of pricing models based on success. So for golf facilities, it's very easy. Everyone can start based on transactions. You ramp up your business. It doesn't have to cost you anything right away. Sales channels, the same. There aren't any monthly fees. There aren't any annual fees. You don't have to pay to sign up. Search all you want. You pay only for a successful booking. So again, we want to get this out. We want people to use it. We want to see more of this impact that some of the facilities are looking at. So a question we always ask is, are we doing this as fast as possible? And, do we want businesses, travel companies, hotels, apps, every possible sales channel out there to book our golf courses? Well, as an operator who did this for a long time, absolutely. If I could go to one portal and be able to do this, well, that would be amazing, especially if it doesn't cost me anything. You don't have to download any software here. You don't have to install anything. It is simply cloud-based. Open up a browser, go to this website and log in. That's it. For golf courses, we will put all your rates in for you. We will take that time off of your hands because we know how important this is, and we do think there is a benefit to it. Sales channels, exactly the same thing. We want to enable people to use the system. And I think sorry, Joe.
On the golf course side, it's a bit of part of our problem is that we kind of relate to it as it's a car with an engine, and you drive the car, you really have no idea what the engine does. The only thing you need to do is put some fuel in once in a while, and that's what our system is. Because once you've set it up and your channels are connected and you have created your conditions, there's really not much else to do apart from maybe updating your rates every year. And if it comes from the T-sheet, there's really not much else to do apart from connecting to more channels, inviting more channels, or or accepting more channels. It's a bit of part of our problem that people are not in our system, especially on the golf course side, day in, day out, like they are in their tee sheet. So we kind of get forgotten about sometimes in that respect. On the sales channel side, it's completely different, because this is a working tool for them, whereby they can see availability across multiple destinations, multiple tee sheets, multiple courses, all in one view. So they are in there day in, day out. So they are more familiar with our channel and our setup. So it's a bit part of our problem that we are the engine in the car that keeps on ticking over if you just put some fuel in once in a while.
Yeah, and a real easy win for golf courses, at least in Europe, rack rates and direct rates don't get enforced that often. But when you look at the cost of electricity versus the cost of a staff member and all those literally months of time almost wasted by just answering phone calls and emails. I mean, they're not wasted, but it is a lot of time spent. It does make sense to move to something like this, especially from a channel side. If they don't get charged if they don't use it, they need to search, they need to check. Golf courses need to be out there, they need to be searchable. That's how people are going to find them and ultimately make bookings. We want to make sure they have every opportunity to do that.
Yeah, like if you look at the path that John described in the beginning of a booking, manual booking at the moment is the search, the request, you have to reply to the request, then the booking, possible change, cancellation, then getting paid, etc., etc. There's only one part of that journey that makes you money. That's the actual booking. All the rest of it doesn't make you any money whatsoever. That's just a cost all the time. So if you can take some of that away and just have this done automatically, you're going to save yourself a lot of money and a lot of staff. From personal experience, I've been at many golf courses, big golf courses that are reliant on this type of business, trying to buy a pair of shoes or a sweater and not able to, because the girls, the ladies, or the guys in the shop were busy answering questions from somebody trying to book a set of clubs, trying to book a tee time, trying to change a tee time. Ultimately, you walk out and you haven't sold a sweater. So we're trying to allow golf courses to deploy that staff member in a different manner, whereby they can upsell. Really, the booking is done. If you can do it online, you don't have to worry about it. The gentleman will or lady will turn up.
I think, do we have a question?
Yeah, Elvis has a question. Just putting him on his mic now. Elvis, your mic is disabled now. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if I missed this out because of my line is choppy, but how does the interface look for the golf courses, the stakeholders, like golf courses, the players, and of course the sales channels you were talking about, making these either a booking or the contract?
Yeah,
I'm actually more interested of the golfers, how does it look like for them, and how do they access the system booking? Yeah. Sorry,
John, if you maybe go back to the slide of the video. So there's a couple of things that I've picked up on. So ultimately, the golfer doesn't see our platform, because this is a B2B environment whereby the operator, the tour operator, the concierge, the lady in the hotel that facilitates the bookings of the golf club, they will see this dashboard, and they will see the process that we've just described with the booking engine, etc., etc. Golf courses have a similar dashboard with some on the left hand side, some different bullet points or action points, whatever, whereby they can set up conditions, set up payment conditions, book cancellation policies, etc., etc. On the golf course side, there are three elements. The first element is the connectivity between our platform and the tee sheet. So the tee sheet is live. Anything that is available or not blocked, not booked, we can see and we can display. Then there's a set of rules, conditions, rates that you can set up in our system as a golf course. And then obviously there's the connectivity between the golf course and the channel, and that connectivity there, that's where you dictate these rules. If you have multiple cancellation policies, we can build it on group size. 0 to 4 players 24 hours, 4 to 12 players 48 hours, more than 12 players 5 days. We can set it that way, etc. So it's a similar dashboard as this. The tee sheet dictates availability. The connectivity between golf course and channel is dictated in our platform with all the rules and conditions. Golfer doesn't really see, apart from the example in Qashqai's and Eurogolf and more others to come. The golfer doesn't see this dashboard. This is a completely B2B enclosed, password protected environment.
And for those, let's say, sales channels or groups that might want to book. So Elvis, if you don't have contracts with some of them, that's okay. And part of the guarantee of the payment system is to help with that. So you can have confidence as a golf course that someone booking, if they have to, for example, prepay 100% to make the booking and have it go directly and show up on your tee sheet, you will know you have your money. So you don't necessarily need to have a contract or be afraid that if you have a contract, does that payment extend indefinitely without being paid? You have that choice to be on invoice if you like, of course.
Sure.
But there is that confidence that you can have that monies will be received according to what you say.
Sure. Maybe I didn't understand this, but let's say if I'm a golfer and I want to play at Costa del Sol, I will go into a golf course there, and do I access my booking on their webpage, or how is that booking activated?
As a golfer,
individual golfer,
this is a business to business platform. So we aren't selling directly to consumers.
So, no, I understand that, but you have a number of golf courses that I possibly want to access through the system because you have good pricing and policies and whatever you have. How do I know that that I'm booking within this system, or I don't see that as a golfer? Or
the golfer cannot book on this system. This is B2B. You as a golfer,
I understand that.
Yeah,
I understand that now.
You would go to your tour operator, or you would go to a platform like Eurogolf, and you would book there. Eurogolf, then the booking would be facilitated through our system into the team.
Right.
That's as a golfer, you wouldn't come here.
Okay, so as a golfer, sorry if I'm a little bit annoying here, but if as a golfer, what are my how do you say, what's the gain as a golfer from using systems like this? I mean, how do I know? Because obviously, if this is so good, I would still want to access those. Do I know, for instance, as a golfer, which golf clubs are using this system or not?
As a golfer, it's really about you getting a better experience from the golf course and from any travel agent or tour operator you book your golf with. So you'll receive, confirmations and things like that as the golfer. But really, it enables the booking agents and the golf courses to hopefully be able to give you a better experience, certainly faster.
I like the concept completely. It's just a matter of also what the experience becomes for the end user also, meaning the golfers. Like you said, they possibly can book faster, they get acknowledgements faster, pricing is possibly better, I don't know.
Absolutely. If you're staying at a hotel,
what the loop is from that part of the value chain.
Yeah, like if you're staying at a hotel, Elvis.
Sorry?
And if you're staying at a hotel and you go into reception, say, oh, I'd like to play 3 rounds of golf. So you could actually stand there now and have different golf courses in your area. You can book them right there while you're waiting instead of having to call, or the receptionist or concierge has to send an email, say, oh, I'll let you know, I'll ring your room. This will, as a golfer, give you faster feedback in terms of what's available for you and what you can get.
Yeah. And obviously you save a lot of time for the golf courses, and I guess it's a different channel for a convenient channel, I would say, for any other stakeholder.
Well, as a golfer, there are obviously several ways for you to book a tee time. There are platforms out there that allow that. There, you can go to the website of the golf club, or you can go to a tour operator or a hotel, like John said, and they can all facilitate. Now, the B2B part of that, the tour operator, the hotel, the DMCs, they haven't had access to a system like this whereby they could book live tee times on your behalf. You say, I want to go to the Algarve, book me 5 rounds of golf. They would then have to do the process of emailing, phoning, etc., which we just described. Now, where we then go as Zest is, we are looking at all these tour operators and other platforms as well. We have leading platforms that already have integrations with tee sheet providers that also are coming to us, because there's an efficiency play here. So you have, like I said in the beginning, if you have 500 platforms, whether it's a tour operator, DMC, hotel, booking engine, booking platform somewhere else, if they all have to go to that particular tee sheet and then via that tee sheet connect to 300 golf courses, I'm just giving a number here, that becomes very inefficient, because you have 500 on the one side trying to get access to 300 golf courses, all via the one tee sheet. There's a lot of work in the background, API applications, support tickets, etc. We take all that work out of the equation. We make the integration with the tee sheet. We have all the golf courses on the platform, and we have one integration whereby a platform, a tour operator can access multiple golf courses. That's where the efficiency play is. It's efficient for the golf course because they receive their booking in real time on their within their tee sheet, knowing, if they use the payment system, knowing that it is paid. And on the tour operator, hotel, booking platform, whatever, there are a number out there that we are also in discussions with. They know that they don't have to integrate with all these different operators, because this tee sheet world has gotten more fluid as well.
I mean, you're obviously exposing both channels, clients with each other. So
it's an efficiency play more so than anything for a lot of parties: golf courses, tee sheets, operators on the other side, and we sit in the middle.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Thank you for
the question. I was going to say something else, but I can't remember now.
While you're thinking, Joe, if anyone has any additional questions, we can certainly take them. Otherwise, please feel free to contact Abu directly, contact any one of us directly, visit our website, zest.golf. We'd be happy to speak with everyone, show a more in-depth demonstration of what the system can do, whether for golf course or sales channel. Elvis, another question popped in your head?
He's got that hand waving going on. He's got it down to a T now.
I'm hammering my questions now. Sorry, I don't want to annoy you too much, but you guys, you are based out of, if I understand it correctly, the US and Europe here, or no?
We're based in the Netherlands and in St. Andrews, so just in Europe for now.
Okay, all right. Netherlands and
we have some integrations we have some integrations already in the US, like you've seen probably on one of the slides, Lightspeed, which is obviously, it's Canadian, but it's also in the US. We have another few of them already. We have demand from the US, but first we wanted to make sure that the channel manager, with all the intricacies of the European market, because there's a lot more, it's not as straightforward as USA, multiple courses, potentially multiple currencies, multiple languages, etc. So once we get that all sorted, which we have at the moment, then go into America, which brings its own set of challenges, obviously, because it's such a massive country. But we're almost ready to go.
Yeah. Now I understand you said you were working with a payment system, Stripe. Obviously, they are like payment process provider almost. But is there any particular hardware or hardware company in terms of managing payments that you are working with, or that could be anything? You don't have any preference there?
No. Well, there's obviously in payment, there's two things. There's the point of sale and the terminal at golf club level, whereby somebody walks in and wants to book by card. That we don't concern ourselves with that because that's not what we do. The payment solution in itself, the development of it and the functionality of it is ours. We've developed that. We are just using Stripe, and potentially we can plug in any payment provider into that. It's just we need a vehicle to process money. We can't do it ourselves. We don't want to do it ourselves. Stripe processes that for us, but the functionality whereby golf course can dictate these payment terms. And one of the good ones is you can get paid at time of booking, full stop, very easy. You can get paid a percentage of time of booking, a percentage of time of play. You can get paid X days before play. So there's an awful lot of functionality in the back end that can dictate, that the golf course can dictate. So all that is developed in-house. We just use Stripe as a conduit, really.
Right. And you don't care if they're using the phone payment, Apple Pay, or a credit card reader, basically.
No.
Okay.
No. Stripe allows any.
Yeah.
Depends on countries. Depends on countries.
Exactly. I mean, there was one time that you were not allowed to, or you couldn't use the chip on the card in the US. You just use the magnetic stripe, and that's obviously not like that anymore. But anyways, all right. Thank you again. See if I can harass you some more.
No, don't worry. You're not able to shake us up. You probably hear this regularly. We're all shook up.
All right, fantastic. Anyone else have any final questions? Let's see, no, Elvis, thumbs up. Okay, great.
So really, the summary is, like we said to Elvis, we're the middle part between golf courses, tee sheets, and channels, and we create efficiency in that marketplace, whereby not each and every channel has to make integrations with each and every tee sheet and golf course, etc. All that work. One of the initial slides showed that via one platform you can access multiple courses, multiple tee sheets, multiple destinations, all in one go.
Exactly, with the confidence of receiving your money whenever you want it, if you're a golf course.
Yes.
Exactly. Fantastic. Abu, this was amazing. Thank you very much.
Great, John. I think we're just about to wrap up here, and before we do, guys, there was a very interesting subject and webinar. Thanks, Elvis has just clapped for us as well, and I'd like to say to the audience, thanks for joining us today, and we'll have this webinar on demand recorded, and it'll be up on our platform soon as well. And if there are any questions, there will be contact details alongside this webinar as well to contact the team at Zest, but also myself, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, to get in touch with Zest, please do. I will leave my contact details on the webinar as well. Please do get in touch with me as well, and we can try and get you guys connected as well. But thanks again, John, Joe. It's been great to have you guys on for this webinar, and we'll see you around soon.
Very good.
Thank you, Abu, for
Thanks
hosting
everyone
us.
for
Thank
coming.
you very much. Thank
Great,
you.
guys.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks very much. Bye everyone.
Bye.